Teachers, welcome back to my channel. If this is your very first time visiting my channel, my name is Amber and I call all my subscribers my cousins because I'm from the South and here in the... Wait, I can't say that anymore. On this video, you already know the news. I moved from Alabama all the way to California. Over on my Instagram, I have been hinting about it for probably about the last month, and I mentioned that I was moving and I was moving extremely far away from where I currently lived, but I didn't mention where. Then on August 1st, I let the cat out of the bag that I had decided to move to Los Angeles. Just to be completely honest with you guys, I really am still just kind of finding my way as it pertains to how much I want to share with my YouTube channel. Characteristically, I generally am a very private person and I tend to not share my moves until they have moved, like until I've already done it basically, just because I try to only share things that are helpful or inspiring or, you know, people can learn from in one way or the other. And a lot of times I feel like you really can't help people if you are in it at the time. You really help people by showing them how you did it and how you got through it. But there's also just, you know, I don't know, there's just fun in documenting the journey as is. I decided that I wanted to just share the whole experience with you guys just because I feel like my move to California was somewhat unconventional, and then it definitely took probably 90% of the people who knew me by surprise. So I decided to kick all this off with just a simple Q&A. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you definitely should, because over on my Instagram you get to know me just a lot more on a more personal level because I'm able to post on it a lot more easy. I post daily in my daily stories, and I just asked the Instagram cousins to leave me questions that they had for me because I knew there would be a lot. Now I'm just gonna answer them for you here because they pretty much will answer anything that I could have told to you guys just rambling away anyway. So I'm just gonna work through these questions and try to get through as many as I can. So the first question comes from my Facebook page, and this actually was a really popular question. How do you feel like your hair routine will change dealing with the change of weather from Alabama to California? And also, what's one Bible verse you think sums up your mood with moving? Both of those are really good questions. So I officially moved to California on August 1st, 2018. Today is August 5th. So I have only been in California for about 5 days. With that being said, I really can't say for sure how my hair routine will change, but in the area that I'm in, it is very hot, like by 9 a.m. 102 degrees hot. And then it is also very dry heat. And so although I'm from the South and I'm used to the heat part, at least in the South you have a humidity component to it that you don't have in this area. And so what I am noticing, number one, is that my hair dries really fast. So that is really cool. Like twist outs and wash and goes dry in a minute. But also with that being said, then it can then turn around and dry your hair out, especially if you're somebody who spends a lot of time in the sun. So if anything, I feel like a lot of layering will probably happen, and that just means that usually when I lived in Alabama, I was like either a 1 or 2 total ingredients like in any kind of wash day, like as far as like leaving it in my hair, whereas here I feel like I probably will layer products a lot more moisturizing products on top of each other, just so that my hair has excess product, I guess, to like not only create a barrier but to continuously feed my hair moisture over the next couple of days so that it isn't immediately drying out in the California sun. Right now I have a twist out, and I'll leave everything that I twisted my hair with in the description box, and it feels fine. This wasn't like a spur of the moment move for me, not whatsoever. This was not an impulsive decision. This was extremely planned, and so a lot of prayer and meditation and reflection and Everything went into this, and I did a lot of reading of different Bible verses and meditating on them. About 3 days before I moved out here, I did get some new ink on my wrist, and it is a Bible verse. Was your move done to better your YouTube career as far as networking and meeting other YouTubers? The simple answer is no. So the thing about it, and I'm glad that they asked that question because it does allow me to kind of clear up what I feel like is a common misconception about YouTubers and why YouTubers move. So I got that same question worded in a couple of different ways in the ask, like people, did you move to network? Why do all YouTubers move to LA? Do you have to move to LA to be a YouTuber? People aren't like picking up their lives and moving across the country because it is very stressful. Like, this is not just a simple thing to do. Absolutely, I am like through the moon about being around some of my faves. Like, another question was, am I gonna be collabing with Raina? Y'all don't even have to ask, like, just ask Raina to look in her inbox. I told her she wasn't gonna be able to get rid of me, and I don't know how many collabs we're gonna be doing, but we definitely gonna be hanging. I am a full-time YouTuber, and I will touch on that in just a minute. So it definitely does benefit my career to be in a place like LA. But the thing about people who move to LA, or YouTubers who are moving to LA, or other surrounding like larger cities like New York and just California in general, it's more so about the type of person than it is their careers. And of course there are exceptions to every rule, but generally the type of person who is willing to put themselves out there on YouTube are generally like creative people or creators or musicians, or just Los Angeles did not just get big since YouTube. Like, Los Angeles is not just full of YouTubers. Los Angeles is Los Angeles for a reason, and there's a reason why people flock to Los Angeles, because it is the land of opportunity. It is the land where creatives just thrive, and it's something to be said about being around like-minded people. I love being from the South. I love being from Alabama, War Eagle. I will always rep myself as being a Southern girl. I'm proud to be from the South, but I always knew that I wanted to move way before I ever became a YouTuber. In fact, I never even wanted, and I touched on this in my Why I Quit Grad School video, I never even wanted to attend college in Alabama. Like, I love Auburn, but it was definitely my second choice. Although there are tons of great qualities about the South, I just always felt like, I don't know, it just was too small for me. And everything is what you make it, but there's something to be said about diversity and opportunity and just people understanding what you do versus always having to explain and make it okay to people in the South versus other areas. And originally it was New York. Like I always said, when I turned 18, my mom's side of the family is from New York. I was going to move to New York, and I was going to, you know, join some ballet troupe and, you know, join some acting troupe and do that. And I don't like winter. Like, I don't like being cold.
Not to mention, there are certain things that are legal in certain states only that are not legal in New York.
Do you have any major goals, plans you want to complete in Cali? Definitely, obviously, yes. I have small goals, which I'll get to in just a second, which the first one is definitely finding somewhere to live. And then I have bigger goals that are much bigger than YouTube, that stem, you know, past YouTube. And that is the reason that I'm out here. Not to mention, there are tons of opportunities out here that I wasn't able to accept where I was. So, and a lot of these questions are just the same question over and over and over again. So I'm gonna save that for last, my number one question. What restaurant, fast food place are you most excited to try in Cali that wasn't in Alabama? And this is going to sound just weird, just crazy, especially since I am a vegetarian, but I really want to try Del Taco. Another cousin says, you know, Southern families believe in being close. How did your family react? So this is a great way for me to kind of address something that I did really want to talk about with you guys. That cousin is definitely right. Southern families definitely believe in being close. With that being said, leading up to my move, I was very protective of my energy and my space. And I really, and this is gonna sound so crazy, but up until about 2 weeks before I got ready to move, I really only told probably about 5 people. It was never a secret. So if you were somebody who I talked to on a regular basis, like a very regular basis, then you knew. But if you were somebody who I didn't talk to on a regular basis, I really didn't go out of my way to tell people my plans so that they could volunteer their opinions on it. And I have a code that I live by. I don't tell people my decisions who their opinion wouldn't matter either way. But on a deeper scale, like a lot of times people can mean well and they can have the best intentions and still say the wrong thing. And a lot of times people will let their insecurities or their fears over how they would feel about moving or how they would do it or if they would do it or what their insecurities on situations like that, they can let that spill over onto you, and then here you are doubting yourself or doubting what you know God told you to do just because somebody else put that energy all around you. And I was really big on protecting my energy. I had planned this for literally like almost a year leading up to it before we decided to actually tell people, just so that we had the time, the space, and just like the room to make decisions without clouded judgment. And it was very important for me to quiet everything around me so that I could hear what God was telling me to do versus what other people were telling me they would do and what I should do and what, you know. But then when I finally told people, it was by far and large just an overwhelming of acceptance and support, just because that's really all that it could be. If you guys don't know, I am 29. A lot of people don't realize that, but I'm 29 years old, so I am very grown at this point. And so it's just really not much that people can say. Of course, I know that there are people who still don't understand what I did, but I had to get to a place where I didn't need people to understand, and their reaction was not going to affect my decision. And so I waited until I had everything how I wanted it to be before I told people. And then it was just like, hey, here's what I'm doing, and hopefully you can accept and support it. And by far and large, people did. How did you talk about the move with Teej? What was that process like? So if you guys don't know, yes, Teej moved too. So it is both of us and our 2 dogs here in California. Posted like a little picture, a little throwback picture of me and Teej that said like, who would have thought when we met in high school we would be moving across the country together? And so everybody was like, oh my God, because that was like when I really finally announced where I was moving, which leads me into the next question that I got, which was, how long have you and Teej been together? And the common misconception is that we have been together since high school, which we haven't. We just met in high school, and we did date for a short period of time in high school, but we have not dated since high school. We have been together almost 3 years now. Were you nervous to move? Yes, again, picking up and moving your life all the way across the country is a very serious. I definitely were times where I felt nervous, but by far and large, like I said, this has been something that has been in the works. Prepared myself to where the night before when I was packing, just this eerie sense of calm came over me. And literally while I was packing, I had spent the night over my grandmother's house, and she looked at me and she was like, you are so calm. I would be freaking out right now. And it's just that when you truly feel like you are doing what God told you to do, and you're stepping into your purpose and you're walking into God's plan for your life, there's just a sense of peace that comes over you that literally surpasses all understanding. And by the time we got to the point where we were moving, I really wasn't nervous at all. Now, of course, there's always going to be little nerves there, but I definitely was way calmer than I probably should have been or could have been. So then, of course, there are tons of this question. This was my second most asked question. It's just a whole bunch of the same question worded in the same way. What was the process for looking for a home? The vetting process? How long did it take you to figure out your living arrangements? How did you find a home out there? It seems like you didn't go out to look much. Just a whole bunch of those different questions. The way that we did it was super unconventional, but it literally turned out being, I feel like, the best situation. So we did fly into LA a total of 4 different times looking for places to live. And each of those times we literally would fly out and look at the places, and either they wouldn't be what the picture looked like, or they'd be like in a really weird area, because you know anything about LA, like you could be on one block and it's just like really nice on that block, and then like 2 blocks over it is like literally the hood. And the thing about that is, it's not even like necessarily like being close to the hood that was the problem, because again, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama, and if you know anything about Birmingham, Alabama, you probably know us from one of 2 reasons. Either the civil rights movement, which was not a really good look for Alabama with all the segregation and Jim Crow laws and, you know, the bombing of 16th Street Baptist Church and all that. Or you know us from like recent events, which is like being on First 48 and Bait Car and all that. Up until recently, like, which I think it may be like number 7 or 8, but like for years and years and years, every time the list of the top 10 most dangerous cities to live in the country, Birmingham, Alabama would not only be in the top 10, but it would be like in the top 5 of the top 10. And so like now I think it has lowered just a little bit, but I still think we're even still in the top 10. So it wasn't even like living around certain areas, because living in those areas and living in places like that, you develop a certain degree of survival skills, if you will, to a certain degree. And I'll talk about this in just a second. To a certain degree, you want to be content with where you are. And after about 4 trips, and you know that is not cheap, like flying back and forth and hotel arrangements and rental cars and food and finding, you know, because you don't want to fly with the dogs every time, you don't want to put your dogs through that literally flying back and forth. So finding like babysitting arrangements for the dogs and putting things, work projects on hold in Birmingham so that you could fly out, like it just all started to become too much. So what we decided to do was we decided to just go ahead and move to California. We rented out a condo. We actually rented it out through Airbnb for a month so that we could just comfortably look for what we want that fits all the criteria that we need without feeling pressure. Actually, right now, like I was telling you guys on Instagram, we are not even in LA. We are in Palm Springs. And one thing about this whole situation, and I was talking about this with Teej, had we not decided to do it like this, we probably would have never had a reason like other than like Coachella to even be in the Palm Springs area, just because it's about 2.5 hours outside of LA. It is so beautiful out here, y'all. Like now it's hot, like it's like wake up 8 a.m. it's already 100 degrees outside, hot, and it's dry heat. It really just has given us the opportunity to just really take in everything. And so now we have a few places that are like narrowed down that we want to look at and things that we want to do. So now we can take our time and go at our own pace without feeling pressure. And like we packed up all our clothes, we packed up our dogs, and then we are shipping our cars. So like we were able to like stuff our cars with things, and our cars are coming later. And I really, like, people were asking, I really would recommend doing this. If you are in a situation where you have like a little bit of disposable income that you can put towards like an Airbnb that doesn't have to go towards like your apartment and everything, I definitely suggest doing this. The condo that we're staying in is absolutely like gorgeous. It is the perfect amount of space. And then last but not least, the number one question that I literally got this same question like 50 times, and I'm sure you guys already know what question I'm talking about, which is, why did I move to Cali? And if all these answers really didn't like answer the question, I guess the simplest answer for you guys, and the answer that I want you guys to take away from watching this video, because I wanted to. And I know that is going to sound really crazy to some people. That may not be good enough of an answer for some people. Again, it just turned into one of those things. I'm 29 years old. I have done a lot of things in my life because it was a practical thing to do, and a lot of things I've done my plan B plan just because my plan A plan was too scary. And it shouldn't be like that. Like, we have a plan B, you know, everybody tells you to have a plan B, and a lot of us live our plan B lives because our plan A dreams literally scare us. I am blessed to be able to be in a position where I can do something just because I want to do it. And it's really just as simple as that. I don't have any kids right now. Yes, I do want kids. For some reason, when people are over 25 and they don't have kids, people automatically assume that a woman doesn't want kids. I absolutely do want children. I just have things that I still want to do. So I think that's it for this video, guys. If I didn't get to your question, it's either because it accidentally expired before I could screenshot your question. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, you definitely should be subscribed to my channel. You definitely should be a cousin, because there are tons of things that I wasn't able to cover in this video because this video is just getting longer and longer and longer. Also, just, you know, the journey of like finding, you know, finally like officially like finding the first spot after we moved out of the condo, and navigating through officially like being a full-time YouTuber, navigating through this and being like a realistic look at it, because I feel like so many times and you know, big ups to people who are able to do that right off the bat, but so many times when like a YouTuber or somebody makes the big move to LA or a big city, it is always like this super glamorous thing, you know, like Jefferson's. You know, it doesn't always look like that. And I want to definitely normalize the in-between of that. Oh, I'll go full-time when I hit 100K, or I'll move to my dream city when I have this many subscribers, or when I do this, I'll be able to do that. Sure, things can get uncomfortable, but for me, just there are so many things more important than being comfortable, and everybody's level of like struggle and comfort and what you're willing to do to live your life on your terms is very different. So yeah, really, that is it, guys. That's the end of this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, become a cousin, and join this journey with me. I will see you guys in the next video.